So it's been a little while since I checked in with Celebrate Your Grief and shared my journey, and I realize I haven't been able to communicate what I have been working on very clearly to people when they check in with me. And I had a really lovely conversation with my neighbor today, and she reminded me that this experience of writing and the process of writing the book and the changes and the thought process, everything in and of itself is part of the story, right? And I am learning every step of the way. Most recently, I have had the fortune of becoming part of a small writers group, and there are 5 or 6 of us that get together on a monthly basis and share our reading and give each other feedback. And I have been sharing parts of my memoir, and I've also given a couple copies to the members of the writers group to beta read. And so when we got together in July, one of the other members gave me some really beautiful feedback, and she described the memoir as a slow, compelling read. Like, it's slow, intense, and it's thought-provoking. She said it sort of flows like, a babbling brook. And that's my own simile to what she was saying, because I didn't write down exactly how she said it. But what I have done, and I've been really trying to take this feedback in the comments and the little nuggets of information that people have given me from the beta readers that I've had. And I have to back up a little bit first, because it is interesting. I've given the memoir to quite a few beta readers, and some of them I've heard like within 24 hours they read it start to finish and they loved it and resonated with aspects of it. And other people I haven't heard from at all, which is totally acceptable and totally to be expected, and that tells me a lot as well. And some of the feedback that I've gotten is that they want to know who Gabriel is sooner, or Gabriel should be introduced sooner into the book. And that's been sort of a reoccurring theme of the comments that I've received so far. And so I, a couple months ago, I didn't rewrite, I wrote a sort of new introductory chapter that really gets to the heart of who he is quickly and efficiently. And efficiently might not be the right word, but it really, I think, helps lead into the book a little bit more, because the way that I have written it so far, it was sort of framed around my own experience and, of course, the grief that I was feeling at the time and going through, and really delving into the depths of what that was and why that was for me, without really explaining the background of who he was. So with that information, I have been able to shift my thinking about the beginning of the book. So I've got the rewritten beginning, and again, I need to go back in and expand on that. Like, one of the suggestions that I got was to give it some context in terms of, because I talk about some music, and actually like name the song, so it gives sort of a sense of timing, like when that song came out. And so I'm going to do that and also elaborate on a few parts, and then I can see how that flows into the next part of the book. And because of the depth of the emotion, I think it has the tendency to really, maybe I shouldn't say turn people away, but I think it really causes us to reflect deeply on our own grief. And maybe that's too much for the reader, right? Maybe that's not the place that they want to go. I'm not necessarily taking them on a journey. I'm sort of like pushing them into a place where maybe they're not ready to go. And so I need to look at that and maybe reframe how that works and bring them more on the journey, as opposed to really ask my reader to, feel their own grief, right? Like, they'll feel that when they're ready. It's not necessarily my intention, right? Because it's a powerful emotion to process and to feel, and particularly if you're experiencing any in the moment, you may not want to have mine on top of that, right? It's a big ask. So with that information, there's one other part of the book that it sort of follows through a lot in my writing, and that has been how quotes and reading other books and hearing other people's stories have really informed me on my journey. And so I've added a lot of those in the book because it was part of my experience, part of my healing, part of my growing. And these elements, these quotes, and these excerpts of books have really sparked within me an understanding that I felt was really important to include them, to show sort of my thinking process. But maybe now it's time to go back and look at that and remove them, put them into my own words, and explain what it was that I gleaned from that, as opposed to just sharing that and letting people glean their own knowledge or sensation or whatever from that particular excerpt or quote. So yeah, I've got some work ahead of me still to do. Super grateful for my small writers group and the beta readers that have had a look at the memoir to date. It has been of enormous value to have your feedback, and I continue to learn from it daily. And even though I'm not in the actual writing process so submerged in it as I have been before, I am really thinking about it and taking to heart what's been said and how I can improve it and make it more reader friendly and have that full experience shared, and maybe make it a little less weighty, if that makes sense. So yeah, I've got my work cut out for me in this next edit, but I'm getting my feet wet, and it's coming together. So yeah, stay tuned for the next update of the journey, the story that is Celebrate Your Grief. Thanks for listening.